Hey man,
What's up? How are you?
I'm good.
What are you up to? What are we like? Why have you called me here today?
So first question, this is not the other day, this is the same day you are wearing the same t-shirt. Don't scam people.
I always wear the same t-shirt.
I always wear the same t-shirt. You don't.
No, we record every Tuesday, and every Tuesday I wear red. I know that.
Oh,
So I always wear red. Either this red or some other red, but it's mostly red.
so red and blue contrast.
Yeah. So what are we
Nice.
talking about today?
So we are going to talk about how content is made. Simple.
Okay. Okay, how content is made, like in what? Like,
You have to tell me.
okay.
So how creators make content or how big corporations make content. So basically how that entire content creation process is.
Okay, I mean, like I can tell you with respect to what we do first of all. Like we can talk about that. Let's talk about like how Brewer Market makes content.
Hmm.
Like, yeah, what's your process, Shashank? Why don't you start?
So, Blue Market spoiler alert. We do nothing. We just record videos. There's a content editor who takes care of everything.
Yeah, thank God.
So we are lucky enough to have such people.
Yeah.
So
And a
mostly
good
this
video
this
editor
episode
who
is just to
chops
yeah,
off the stuff that
yeah,
all the mess ups that we do, he chops it off and then we're like safe.
yeah. So basically this episode is just to kiss both of these people so that they don't leave us. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah, and one more thing, beep.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, so that's it basically. But yeah, coming down seriously. See, even in respect to brewer market and other stuff. So the first point of making good content is research,
Yeah,
right? So I work with a lot of company founders and companies, brands, and everything.
mhm.
So the first thing you have to do is research. You have to make sure the content you're putting out is genuine, authentic, and people are actually liking that,
Exactly. Yeah.
right? But when it comes to making content for huge corporations, I think you know it better than me.
I can tell you with respect to like a news and media agency because I
Yeah.
mostly work with like either a game publishing company or like a media house, right? Even now
Hmm.
with LinkedIn also, I'm working very closely with the news team. So
Hmm.
let me first talk about this in game publishing sector. Like
Hmm.
say, a game, what they do is say if there's a launch happening, like say if there's a big if there's a game and there's a campaign coming up, so a month or two in advance, they plan like what's going to happen, what kind of activations they're going to do, each and every part of
Hmm.
the game, whatever makes them money or wherever they can. How are they going to brand that particular campaign? What kind of content is going to go out? Who are we going to collaborate with? This whole plan is made prior by the regional team. Like I mean, we used to have like this regional team, like in Singapore, they used to plan the content usually, or like say if it's an Indian campaign, like a Diwali campaign, then we plan all of these things, and then the others like piggyback on it and they do it, right?
Hmm.
So that's how it's made in like big corporations, big gaming publishing houses, etc. Now let's talk about media houses. In media houses, what happens is usually I've spoken to like the founder of Signal also, like we'll be releasing an episode soon. And even within LinkedIn and everything, usually they come up with, and even Sportskeeda also, usually in the morning or like a day before, they come up with like what are the stories that are trending right now. They sit
Hmm.
and the editors pitch saying that this is a story that can be covered by us and why this
Hmm.
can be covered. And then the main editor, like the team or like the managing
Hmm.
editor, they take a call saying that okay, yeah, this is a good thing. This can be pitched. This can be taken ahead, right? So usually it's a lot of debates, a lot of pitching involved. Not even debate per se, but more like
Hmm.
selling why this would be a good fit and why this should be featured, right?
Hmm.
Because not many that can be featured, why this should be considered and why this should not be considered,
Hmm.
etc. Usually, this is how the content works in media houses and
Hmm.
social media. Like, I mean, what creators do, we spoke about it. Like, what we do, we research.
Hmm.
We like even when I'm recording a podcast with like any guest, first I research about them. I research about the topic that I want to talk to them about, and accordingly ask them questions.
Hmm.
Right. This is all in all. This is the process. So, what have you been doing? I want to ask you, what have you worked with agencies and stuff, right? Like, so
Hmm.
agencies do differently? What have your experience been?
So basically, this is similar to when it comes to all content creation process. It's very similar, but but we don't do this debating and discussion thing. So it's
Mhm.
mostly a content writer who comes up with a few content ideas. It goes to the social media manager or the associate manager, like the project manager. So they approve on what the content for this week can be, and then they start working on that. So this is how basically agency works. So but I'm curious about a few things, and one more thing for the people who are listening. So the Signal is not the Signal app, the messaging app. The Signal is a very famous newsletter. If you haven't been reading that newsletter, it's probably stupid of you. Go read that. So it's basically a desi version of Morning Brew. So yeah, go read that.
But it's pretty
Much
cool.
much better actually.
Much.
Much better actually, because we are Indians and we know we relate to a lot of this stuff
Yeah.
that's happening there. So
Yeah.
yeah, and coming back to the point. See, I just want to know a few things. Okay, so when you are getting a few content, so these are these, but what makes you stick with one particular piece of content? What makes you not exactly fall in love? What makes you to stick with that content?
Majorly for me, it is like I've learned this from like when I was in my previous role, like this very important line that my manager told me. He told me
Mm,
that think from the audience perspective.
mm,
Whatever you're putting out, like even if you're writing a
mm,
copy, even if you're writing, creating content, whatever it is, think from their perspective. Why will they want to click on it? Why will they like it?
mm,
What's making them fall in love with the content, right? Instead
mm,
of us falling in love with our content. So I
mm,
think from like say what value can even in this podcast as we're discussing, it can be
mm,
something monotonous, it can be something that's already spoken about, but I think like what value can I add? Even when I was speaking to like previous content writers, even if you're
mm,
picking up an old news that has been covered by 1,000 publications,
mm,
think about what additional value can you add, what different thing can you add? That's something that
mm,
like in my current job also the manager also says to all the editors, right?
mm,
What is something new? What is a different peg? Like, how are you packaging it? So that matters a lot. Like, what value you're adding and what and how is it insightful for that other person reading it, right? Think from the audience perspective.
mm.
That is what I go for. Yeah.
So see, this is what basically even I want to talk about. See, but see, even take Brewer Market for example. We don't do a lot of current affairs content as per se. See, we posted a Pele video like after probably like 3 weeks after that went out of trending.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So we don't exactly care about the trends per se. See, even today when we wanted to talk about share chat and everything, but we decided not to it because see, we could have talked about it just because it is trending. But
Yeah.
that's not the point. Right.
Exactly.
See, but once again, like I kind of disagree with one point that you said. But when you're working for a company and everything, you have to make sure you do what the audience like. You have to think from the entirely from the audience point of view. But when you're an individual creator, when you're running your own company, when it comes to brewer market, we can do what we like.
Yeah.
Right. See, maybe your opinion might be slightly tended towards like how YouTube videos are performing, how certain videos are performing. Should we do more videos like that? So your opinion might be tilted that way. So
Mhm.
my opinion will mostly be like because I enjoy doing that, I'll keep doing that.
Mhm.
That
So
is my
again,
perspective.
like so at the end of the day, you need to have like this one target audience. For you, like I mean, when you're creating for yourself,
Uh,
your target audience is someone who enjoys content that you like. Like
mm,
some like content creators, individual content creators who believe in like this thing. They're
mm,
creating for themselves. They're creating for people who are like them, who have similar taste.
mm, yeah.
That is one way to go ahead. Or like another thing is like say you create a target audience, you create one person, you know that this is the person that I'm targeting. He's like a 19-year-old
Mm,
made this thing with that man who is in like a tier 2 city and who wants to know more about marketing, and my content is directed to him. That can
mm,
be other approach. Either it is that approach or it is like say it is for me Rakshit, like 10 years ago, when I was 16 or
mm,
when I was like
mm.
19.
See,
What
even Uttam Gupta spoke about it, right? Like, so what he wanted to do is like, what would a 19-year-old Uttam want to hear? So
exactly.
that is how he packages his content.
There are two different ways. Exactly. There are two
Yes,
different ways of
exactly.
himself, or like you come up with like a persona and you make it
Mm,
fun,
yeah.
right? Mhm. So
See, actually, like this is how a lot of content creation works. See, even you take this famous YouTubers for example. See, Mr. Beast has a channel called Mr. Beast 2. A lot of famous creators have their second channel because they
Mhm.
want to do one thing is their business and one thing is their passion. Not
Mhm.
everything that comes in the second channel makes it to the main channel. So the first thing is passion. Sorry, money.
Yeah.
Purely money. You have to make content so that you can keep that second channel running. But if you ask them, the second channel is what is they like the most because they can express themselves. They can do whatever they want.
That's something a
Right.
lot of our Indian creators also doing, right? Like, I mean,
Mm,
they started off with like, say this, let's take Beer Biceps, for example. Like he
mm,
started off with this, with a channel where he was making like some random videos and talking about random
mm,
shit. And now he's doing these, like these spiritual content and everything. I don't know if he
mm,
do it, but at least I feel like that is something different, right? Another
mm,
channel, the
mm,
run show that he has. So that's how it is. Like people, you need one which is a crowd puller and one which is your passion, like your core.
mm,
That's how it is even
mm,
in content also. Like when you're writing in LinkedIn, what I tell all
mm,
my creators is that like have a mix of content wherein one content is for like a crowd puller, a massy thing, and
mm,
one content which is like say insightful, which is for your community, your core people, people
mm,
targeting to, right?
mm.
So that works a lot, like for crowd puller and like having that code thing.
Mm. See, a lot of even very famous creators like let's take Varun Maya for example. Even he spoke about this, right? So he had like this massive dump of reels that he had. So
Yeah,
he dumped all these things. He built a huge audience, and then he's like quietly pushing out content that he likes.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
See, that is one way of looking at it. Even if you take even famous tech YouTubers, for example, like take Marcus Brownlee, for example. Even though he loves reviewing tech, his actual love is, reviewing cars. So he
Yeah.
likes cars a lot. So he has a separate channel called Autofocus where he just talks about auto.
Wow, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so he has a separate channel called like there is one more thing called Waveform Podcast where they talk about how see you take all these MKBHT's intros, that is one single piece of art. Not
Mhm.
even huge corporations can match this level of filmmaking and everything.
Yeah.
So there is a channel called Waveform Podcast and Waveform Video where they talk about how the creator team works, the creator studio. They talk about how the creators work. They talk about how they make content. See, they
Mhm.
do all these things is because that is actually what they enjoy doing a lot.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
MKBHD channel is majorly, as you said, like a crowd puller and massy kind of thing
Mhm.
that gives them money so that they can keep doing the other stuff, right?
I
But
think
even,
do that. We should make like a basketball podcast with where one long
yeah,
show it's spoken about, and we
yes.
talk about like, basketball stuff and Indian, like in the Indian setting. Yeah.
See, some one fine day, I would say we'll probably do that. See, even right now we can do that. See, there are only probably 3 or 4 channels that do basketball right now from India.
Yeah.
What if we try doing that, and if we put some good amount of money in marketing, that we'll probably get sponsored by Indian NBA India.
Awesome. Yeah.
If someone who's looking for a business opportunity, if you like basketball, just do this.
Let's
I
let's
think
put
there is
them.
hardly six or
Yeah.
seven
I think
channels
I
who are
think
talking
most of
proper
our
basketball.
podcasts. I think most of our
Hmm.
podcasts, if people come, they'll get one business idea and they can
One business idea, yeah. See,
asking you
probably
for
in the future we'll be known for this. Yeah.
yeah. They will like, yeah, it's just come get an idea, steal it and go.
Yeah.
You'll make money for sure.
Yeah. See,
Do
as I
the
told you in the previous podcast, also having ideas anyone can have, but it's actually about doing the work.
exactly,
Right. Yeah. It's
exactly.
about actually doing the work. But
And
coming
how
back to the point
organized
of content creation,
yeah.
yeah. See, I just want to like reserve the last 2 minutes. Like, remember back in those days when all of my thoughts were negative. So
Yeah.
I like to take that 2 minutes to get my negative thoughts into this also.
Okay.
See, doing content for your audience, doing content for the people is really fine. If you want to make good money, content creation right now is a very lucrative option, very viable business opportunity. But you have to have one thing in your mind. If you keep creating for the audience, if you're just motivated by the amount of likes, shares, or subscribes, or tweets, or retweets, or whatever you get,
Yeah.
you'll probably end up feeling burned out, and you won't love your journey. Like you won't love the process of content creation. See, I don't like labeling myself as a content creator, but like it or not, I
Yeah.
am a content creator.
Yeah.
Even though I act like I don't have any social media, I don't have any social presence and everything, I probably have a way huge social media presence than a lot of people that are active on these platforms,
Yeah.
because I'm actively contributing these platforms. Just because I don't have an account doesn't mean I'm not an active contributor.
Yeah.
See, I'm one hypocrite. I know what I'm doing, but see, unfortunately, I have to. There are certain things I have to live with. But whenever you are making content, see, even with Brewer Market, why I keep doing this, because see, there might be a point or a day in the future when, let's assume, this doesn't happen, but if it happens, let's say we are getting some VC money or funding, they would
Mm.
probably want a very prominent social presence for me, for
Mm.
you, for Pranay, or all these people who are working with Brewer Market. They probably want a very ample social presence.
Mhm.
They would want us to do a lot of videos. See, if you ask me, even I hate coming in front of camera.
Yeah.
But the reason why we do this is because the only reason why I do this is because only if we do a lot of videos, I know we can make money. When it comes to content creation, right now, the easiest way to do is to monetize YouTube. That's not
Exactly.
the easiest way. That's not, I'm saying it's not easy. It's the easiest way, not the easiest thing to do.
Yeah.
Okay. So making money right now, brand deals and everything, that's secondary. But the first thing you can do is work your ass off to make sure you monetize on YouTube. That's
Yeah.
the one thing every content creator can do right now.
Mhm.
Right. So even though I don't like doing that, I left the social media for this very reason. When I'm my whole thought process and everything is focused by an algorithm, is like tamed by an algorithm. But
Mhm.
right now, see, right now I have the luxury of not being attracted or being tamed by these social media platforms, but I can just do whatever I want and just use these platforms as a tool.
Mhm.
But if you are someone, see, even though right now I don't use social media, I use YouTube. I am subscribed to like 30-40 different good channels who give me actual good content.
Mhm.
Right. So everyone who's a content creator, just a consumer for the content, make sure you take all these platforms in control, because the amount of content you're consuming will shape the person who you are.
Yeah.
Because that is what happening in the world right now. You can't deny. Yeah.
Mindful consumption.
Mindful consumption of content, like series, TV series, movies, and anything. Whatever you consume, let it be food or anything, make
Yeah.
sure it's very mindful. You stick to some personal guidelines. You make sure you stick to it, and make sure you live a very happy and healthier life.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And on that note, like, I mean, hopefully you have learned something from this podcast
Yeah.
wherein like, you understood like
Yeah.
how creation works and how to also mindfully consume and create content, because
Mm.
what you consume is what you create, right? At the end of the day,
Yes.
if you
Mm.
don't, if you consume shit, you will only have shit in your mind, and you will only learn
Mm.
about shit. Again,
Mm.
beep, 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 all these parts. But if you consume good quality stuff, you will blurt out like good quality stuff. You will have such knowledge and such insights to,
Mm.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. See, simple as that. Garbage in, garbage out. Like putting it in simpler terms. Garbage in, garbage out. I always say this
Yeah.
whenever I speak with anyone. Even though when I take mentoring sessions and everything,
Uh,
whenever some designer, content writer, or creator asks me what to do, I give them a simple answer: garbage in, garbage out.
yeah.
What you consume comes out. So
Yeah.
consume good content. Make sure you do that mindfully. In that
Well,
note, I think we can end.
yes.
So this is Shashank and Rakshit signing off from Brewer Market. So we are available at Brewer Market on all social platforms, and Rakshit is available at Rakshit Tar on LinkedIn, and I am available at shashankasn.com. So see you next week. Bye bye.